Yo, what's up, guys? Sam here. And believe it or not, the number one Apple fan on the planet is going to call the iPhone 13 Pro a perfect phone. All right, you can click off. That's the video. Wow, he did it. Wow, fanboy calls it good. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's the moral of the story. But this phone goes a little bit deeper than that. And my thoughts go past the surface of, I like Apple, I buy everything, buy the new phone. There's a reason I think you should buy the iPhone 13 Pro and nothing else this year. And well, there's four reasons, actually. The design this year is a little bit heavier, and that weight and the shine, especially of the silver model, makes this feel like some kind of a gem or a jewel. It feels more jewelry-like than even the Apple Watch. They've got the frosted glass, they've got the stainless steel band going around the edges, and it is the added weight that does make this feel like a $1,500 phone or a $1,600 phone. And I can't believe that I'm saying that, but I mean it and I feel it. And this is the first iPhone ever that I truly feel like is worth $1,000. We had the iPhone 10, and then the 10s, and the 11 Pros, and the 12 Pros. Those were all $1,000 phones, and I bought them, and I used them, but I never recommended the phone to most people. I was like, it's a little extra. If you have $1,000, you can get it, but you're really getting just a slightly better version of the phone below. But this year, Apple's flipped the script. The iPhone 13 Pro is a much better phone than the 13, and I truly believe it's worth $1,000. Because for that price tag, in addition to the ultra premium design, you are getting three things that you are not getting on the standard 13 mini or 13. And first, that is the display. What I'm not going to tell you today is that the 120 Hz ProMotion screen on the iPhone 13 Pro is going to change the game for everyone. In fact, for most people, like if you just did a random sample of somebody in the world and you showed them the 13 screen and the 13 Pro, they will not see a difference. My mom didn't see the difference. My friends who don't care about tech or watch my videos every day like they're supposed to didn't see the difference. And many others just are like, okay, can't see anything. But if you do look at your screen and you do critically analyze content and you're like me and you love technology, the 120 Hz display is worth the money. It is phenomenal. It is the smoothest iOS I've ever seen. It even feels smoother than the iPad because it's on a smaller display. Every day when I wake up and touch this phone, I'm like, oh, wait, I still have 120 Hz. I forget about it, and then when I wake up, everything is just so smooth and silky and buttery. I'm just happy it's here. I've wanted this forever. The display is just so damn good. Listen, you know if you're somebody that's gonna care about the screen, if you're watching this video on Tech YouTube, you probably care about the screen, and if you're asking yourself if you care about the screen, you probably do, and it's probably worth the money for you. And working on this review, I really was this close to saying that at the end of the day, the screen is what I appreciate the most, and that alone would be worth the upgrade for some people. But that's true, right? The screen is nice. I love it. But it's the battery life. And it's not even close. And the battery life is absurd this year. I am somebody who is Apple's #1 fan. I hope by now you guys know that I will call them out whenever they're doing some dumb shit. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Because it lasts forever, it never dies, and I think one day, since I've owned this in 2 weeks, as a heavy iPhone user, I've dropped below 10%. Every other day, it's between 20 and 30% when I'm putting this on the charger. On my iPhone 12 Pro that I had before this, it would die before the end of the day, pretty much every day for the month or two leading up to the 13 Pro's release. And I think that was due to the 5G signal. I think that was due to me running the iOS 15 beta. Just the battery capacity went down really fast, which is something I want to look into more. We're not talking about that now, though. We're talking about the 13 Pro, and the 13 Pro's battery life is just off the charts. I am somebody who needs this to work and not die before the end of the day, and it doesn't even get close. It's just amazing. Like, if Apple changed nothing else, and a lot of you might disagree with me here, if they did nothing else but upgrade the battery, it would be worth paying $1,000 for. I think I'm on my 30th take now of something else to say about the battery, and I just keep repeating the same thing in different ways, which is that it's incredible, that it's amazing, and that it is more of an upgrade than I was ever expecting to see on an iPhone. For me, it's the biggest jump in battery life year over year in the iPhone's history. But if we're talking about a perfect phone, I think there's one other thing we haven't talked about. We've talked about the screen and basically iOS being amazing. We've talked about the battery life never dying before the end of the day. Well, what about the photos and videos on this thing? I believe at this point in time that the iPhone 13 Pro has the best camera system for photos and videos on any smartphone that exists in the world right now. Let me be clear here though, I have not gone hands-on with every Android phone in recent years, but I've watched a lot of comparisons and I've seen a lot of the photos. Listen, Android phones have better long optical zoom and they've got some fun gimmicks for selfies and other things that the iPhone doesn't have. But if you are talking straight up photos, videos, quality, stabilization, fidelity, color science, I believe the iPhone wins every single time. And there's these fun filter options that you can get on the iPhone that make it look more Samsung-y or Google-y or whatever you like. It's built in. It's really good. I mean, I've done an entire camera comparison. Like I mentioned color science, that's a super big upgrade. Night mode shots on here are unironically night and day. And the craziest thing about the iPhone 13 Pros is that they don't even go into night mode as much as the 13s or any iPhone before it because the aperture on the lens is wider this year. It's perfect. I think the cameras are perfect this year. I mean, obviously you want to see things improve. I want the video to get even more crisp, but I want the photos to, for all intents and purposes, I believe the cameras are perfect. The 3x zoom gets you closer. The ultra-wide camera gets the biggest upgrade in history. These cameras and the photos and videos you get from the iPhone 13 Pro, they're incredible. They're amazing. And like I said, from everything I have seen, the iPhone does it the best. Perfect feel in your hand, perfect screen, perfect battery life, perfect cameras. That's what makes the iPhone 13 Pro a perfect phone for me. But of course, I'm not gonna let Apple off the hook. There are still some things I would like to see and still things that infuriate me. Like the lightning port on the bottom that has existed since 2012 and seen absolutely no innovation whatsoever. Apple is calling this proprietary and that this is in their ecosystem and they wanna control it. Hey, okay, if you wanna control it, can you make it better? Can you improve on it? Because this is the same lightning port to my knowledge that we've had since the iPhone 5. Why don't we have USB-C on the iPhone? This is unexcusable. The iPhone needs USB-C. Again, I'm calling this perfect because it doesn't impact my day-to-day considering I charge with MagSafe now and can airdrop things to wirelessly transfer data and photos and videos. I still want USB-C more than ever. And I really want to see this on the iPhone. Please, Apple, please give us USB-C. That's all we want. And second of all, I want to see Touch ID return. I think Face ID is incredible, but I would love to see an additional layer of authentication, unlocking something like dual authentication, where you have to scan your fingerprint and scan your face for the most secure biometric system on any phone in the world. I mean, I guess you could argue that Face ID already is the most secure bio-authentication system, but I could see that getting even better. And I just miss Touch ID, especially with masks. Face ID doesn't work perfect all the time. It works perfect most of the time. I'd really like to see the fingerprint sensor return. But those critiques are minor. And, considering everything else that this phone nails, yeah, I think the iPhone 13 Pro is a perfect phone. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, drop a like down below, hit subscribe for more. I've been Sam. When's the iPhone 14 coming? I want to see that. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.